made me stronger as a person, and it's made me come out of my shell. Like, I was the most shy person. I was so insecure about my body, and I still am today.
And you were bullied a bit at school.
Yeah, and I never thought in a million years that I would get up on stage wearing a bikini and strut my stuff, but I do now, and it's made me stronger mentally and physically. And it's just, I've met so many people and come out of my shell, and I can talk to anyone now about anything.
Yeah, she's more confident, definitely more confident.
Yeah.
People may have a perception about bodybuilders or fitness models because of what they do. When someone is focused on their image, people may automatically assume that that person is going to be arrogant or shallow. After spending a day in the life with Cayla, what I saw was a happy, healthy 20-year-old woman living out her dreams and making everyone around her proud.
I was bullied because of how I looked, and I wasn't the skinniest girl at school, and I wasn't fat either, but I wasn't happy with myself, and clearly people didn't like looking at me. So I got bullied because of that. So that's why I got into sport, and then I got into bodybuilding, and it's changed every year. It's changed my life. Yeah. It's continued to.
Just gotten better and better.
Franco.
So at the moment, how many days a week are you training?
So I have 4 days of cardio a week and 6 days of weights.
And what's sort of your favourite training day?
Probably back and legs. They're my two strongest points, so I always work on them. I should work on others, but they're my two favourite.
Lisa, Cayla mentioned that she started training with you. What's your background in bodybuilding?
I've won a few titles, and the Miss Universe and Miss World for Australia.
You're basically taking on the role of being her coach as well?
Yeah, pretty much, but there's a lot more out there now, and she needs to get out there on her own, but I'll be always there to support her and definitely be behind her. I'm very proud.
With your comp prep, what's the hardest thing for you?
The hardest thing, I think, is the last 4 weeks where the food changes to very basic food, and it just messes with your head, and your whole attitude and your mood just changes completely. You get really moody, you don't want to talk to people, you just get grumpy walking around.
How does the food work? Is that a really important part of what you're doing as well?
Food is probably the most important part of this whole bodybuilding sort of thing, because one, it's your fuel. Like, it's the only way you can train is if you've got the food in you.
Show me a look at what your cooking looks like for a normal meal.
Yeah, for sure. So I usually start with cooking some chicken, and I season it in some Moroccan seasoning, just to make it taste better. Like, there's no point having bland foods all the time. You've got to eat it all the time, so you might as well make it taste good. So I just cook about 120 grams of chicken, and then I mix it with some rice and some sweet potato.
Do you think more women should be doing weight training?
Definitely, especially as they get older, because you hear of a lot of people when they get older, they just think, oh, I'm too old, I can't do anything anymore. But nowadays you see a lot more older people in their training, and they're fit as a fiddle.
It has also become just a lifestyle. It's just a way of life for us now. We eat, we train, we sleep, we go out and socialise with people. As long as you keep a balance between in the gym and all your friends and family, as long as you keep that balance, everything will be great.
And what's going to stop you from winning?
Nothing.